Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niuniu, and joining me today,
Steve.
Hello, Steve. Great to have you.
Thank you so much. I always love doing Takeaway Chinese with you, and I can't wait. It's my favorite topic today.
Oh, really?
We'll get to it soon.
We'll get to it. And for those of you who are listening, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese to take away. Before the opening part, actually, Steve has already shared that we're talking about your favorite topic. What is that?
Well, food in general.
Food in general. Do you know how to say food in Chinese?
That should be the first word that I learned how to say in Chinese.
It should. And also, it is not that hard. Or maybe I can put it this way. It is the kind of word that you have many choices for. You can say in general, kind of official, but also very useful way to say it is 食物.
食物.
食物. 食 carries the meaning of eat, but relatively formal. And 物 is an object. So the object that you can eat.
The object that you eat.
食物, quite straightforward.
食物.
食物. And also in everyday life, what you can do is to put it in very simple ways. That is, when you eat, you 吃. That is a verb. 吃. And in Chinese, there is a simple way to turn the verb into a noun. And that is to put the character 的 after it.
吃的.
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 So 吃的 means the things that you can eat.
Okay.
喝的,
喝
the
的.
things that you can drink.
Okay.
玩的, the things that you can play. So easy way to turn verbs into nouns.
吃的. Isn't it funny? I thought, you learn about the dish names, you learn about beverage names, you learn how to say certain things, but the actual overall general term, I guess you don't use it that often.
You don't use it that often.
Right? Yeah, you don't use it that often in everyday conversation. So did you see my face when you said, do you know how to say food? I realized, no, I've never heard that before.
But you can use it because I think one of the most important questions in life, the question that troubles me all the time is what to eat this morning, what to eat this noon, what to eat this evening. In Chinese, we say 早上吃什么?早上 in the morning, 吃什么 eat what, 中午吃什么 in the evening, eat what, 晚上吃什么 eat what. So, yeah, see, you still do that.
Is that your personality too? You struggle with deciding what to eat in the morning, at lunch, and at nighttime?
Yeah, not because I don't have enough choices. On the contrary, it's because I have too many choices.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. And in that case, sometimes instead of knowing what I want, I kind of know what I want. I do not know exactly what I want, but I know I want something good. So in Chinese, we sometimes say, 我要去吃好吃的. I'd like to go eat something good.
I don't think just everybody says that every day.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You still need to learn about food, the word food, when you know you want to eat something, yet you do not know exactly what it is just yet. So we talked about 吃的 being things that you can eat. 好 is good. So good eating thing would be good food. 好吃的.
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 好吃的. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're having trouble deciding on a snack for later on today, maybe a dish, you can get some ideas from what we'll talk about.
Oh, yes. And also these ideas are, to be honest, brand new to me personally because I like to try new things, but I think I don't want to travel too much to different places. As in, I don't want to travel in the city too much. I like to travel to different places when I'm in a traveling mood. But when you're in a working, living in the same city kind of mood, you just, do not want to go to different parts of the city that much, which limits my exploration area.
Yeah, but you can just get the delivery app opened up and you can order food from almost anywhere in Beijing.
That's true.
Which is an amazing thing. Even if
saves my life.
Even if it's on the other side of the city, they'll still deliver that restaurant's food
That's
to you.
true. So on that note, what is your favorite food and maybe beverage?
Well, you said in the morning you can't decide what to start your day with. For me, it's easy. Coffee.
Oh, coffee, sure,
I
sure.
cannot start my day without coffee. That's like the on switch for my brain.
For some people, it is like that. So what is your favorite type of coffee? Do you have a favorite type? Because I don't.
In Canada, people used to drink, or people still drink, cream and sugar in their coffee. I don't know if that's common in China or not, but it certainly is in Canada. 2 creams and 2 sugars. We call that a double-double, by the way.
A double-double?
Yeah.
2 creams, 2 sugar?
When I lived in Canada, that was totally normal to me. I didn't know any other flavor of coffee. I didn't drink black coffee. And then I moved to this part of the world and I started drinking black coffee. Then I went back to Canada and I had 2 cream and 2 sugar in my coffee again. Oh my gosh. I felt like I was just licking a stick of sugar. It was like pure sweetness to me.
That's what I was thinking about, because in China, in general, now people are looking for less sugar and even decaf coffee in certain occasions. So instead of having the choice of 2倍糖, double sugar, 2倍奶, double cream or double milk in this case, what we usually would see as choices when you're delivering or when you're ordering would be 半糖, so half sugar. 半糖 or 免糖, no sugar at all.
I think it's just what you're used to, right? So I used to drink double cream and double sugar. Then I moved to this part of the world. I started drinking black coffee.
That's true.
And now that's
Healthier, by the way.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. So that's what I drink now. No cream, no sugar at all, just straight black coffee.
Black coffee is Americano in a way.
Yes, with ice. Always with ice. I'm one of those weird people that even in the wintertime, I have to have ice in my coffee.
It's not weird. It's just high tolerance to cold stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So, by the way, Americano in Chinese would be 美式.
美式.
Yes. And also there's 拿铁, for example.
That sounds like latte.
It is latte. And the thing is, sometimes, again, in China, we'd like to use easier or shorter form of words. So if you just directly say 美式 in a coffee shop, people do understand.
Yes.
So it's easier.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I think that was the first lesson that I learned after arriving in Beijing is how to order a coffee. Because as I said, I just can't go without it. So that was a good one for me.
So
Why are you asking me about coffee today?
Because actually, with more and more people enjoying coffee and having a particular interest in other things, we're getting very creative here in China about coffee.
I learned that, and I think it's pretty well established that the tea culture here in China is quite strong. There's a lot of history there, right?
Yes.
The coffee culture is kind of in its beginning stages. Is that fair to say, or has it been around for a while?
It depends on how you define beginning stage. If you compare coffee's history here in China with the almost hundreds of years of tea history in China, you can say it's in its beginner stage. Yet, if you talk about the actual situation, like the size of the market, people's habit, how many of us are developing the ritual of having a coffee to start the day, and even sometimes blend coffee and tea, I would say it's pretty much nice already.
I've never heard of blending coffee and tea
You have
before.
never heard of blending coffee?
What do you call that? Ka-cha?
Cha. Oh, quite close. Cha-ka.
Cha-ka? Oh, I got it backwards.
Tea, coffee.
Yeah, because cha is tea, so I thought if you just combine the two words. I've not tried that before. Is it good?
I think it's good. It has this special smell of tea, and also you can taste different layers in the coffee and in the tea and in the mixture for sure. But tea is definitely not the weirdest thing you can mix in coffee.
Tell me.
Have you ever heard of frozen pear?
Yeah, that's a dessert, right? That's
look at
enjoyed
you.
in, you're going to have to help me with the locations, but in
Southern part.
In the southern part of the country?
Have you tried it?
No, I haven't tried it. I heard about it. They freeze the pear, and when they freeze the pear, that changes the texture of the pear flesh a little bit, maybe making it a little bit softer or a little bit, maybe even change the flavor, make it a little bit sweeter.
Yes, and actually it's something quite popular in the northern part of the country. I've just tried it several months ago, or maybe just several weeks ago in Harbin. It's quite nice. It turns the texture of the pear into popsicles.
Okay.
You can still it because some pears they have this little even like particles in the texture. You can taste it, and if you turn it into almost like
ice,
yeah. It's quite different, and it is quite commonly loved, especially in this harsh winter days. It's really easy to freeze a pear, just throw it outside of your window, and after a night you can go grab it.
Yeah, right. Nature is your refrigerator.
Oh, yes.
But we're talking about coffee, so
Yes.
why are you talking about frozen? There's no frozen pear coffee, is there?
There is, and we
Really?
call it 冻梨咖啡.
冻梨咖啡.
Yes, so 冻 stands for freeze or frozen.
Okay.
And 梨 is pear. So 冻梨咖啡, it is a flavor. Have you ever tried, for example, the orange type of coffee, orange juice with coffee with... You haven't tried that
You're
yet.
blowing my mind today. You
It's
started
really
with the
nice.
tea and coffee. Orange juice coffee?
Orange juice coffee.
Like
or
actual pieces of orange?
or
just mixing orange juice?
Soda.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I think 冻梨 cafe is kind of inspired by the orange flavor coffee as well. But 冻梨, since it's pretty much a really Chinese style thing, a northern part of the country style thing, it is quite something new. And I actually tried it several weeks ago.
How is it?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because with the fruity flavor and also the essence of the coffee, and that type of coffee, in my opinion, has to go with ice, which is your favorite type.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So how do they serve it? Do they cut off a piece of the pear and then put it in the coffee so it kind of acts like an ice cube? Because the pear is frozen in the beginning. But then I was thinking, no, because the coffee would melt the frozen pear almost immediately, would it not?
There are different ways to do it. Actually, since it's something brand new and it's basically a mixture of the Western style and the local Chinese style, different coffee shop would have different ways. Some would squeeze the juice in the frozen pear, 冻梨汁, and then mix it with coffee. Some would use a blender and just mix everything together. There are different ways, and they're all tasty.
Because it's new, they're still figuring out or being creative with,
with it.
different ways to come up with recipes.
Yes, 很有创意. That's what I would say.
很有创意.
Very much have a lot of 创意. Innovation.
Innovation is 创意.
Yes, 创 is 创造. So if you create something, you 创造 something. And 意 is idea. So being very creative.
So you said it's going to get weird. That doesn't sound overly weird to me.
That doesn't sound overly weird because I'm easing you in.
Okay, it gets weirder from here.
So
Okay, come
have
on.
you ever tried 汤圆儿 or 元宵? You must have.
Sure, those are the little snacks, right? Popular during Spring Festival time.
Lantern Festival time as well,
Yeah.
with fillings in it, black sesame, different or red paste bean,
Yeah.
a glutinous rice ball.
Sure.
Try putting them in coffee.
Okay, you were right. It was going to get weird. Yeah, because this is typically, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's typically a dessert, right?
Or you can kind of regard it as a special staple food for the special occasions.
Yeah, right. So the interior of the glutinous rice ball can vary. It can be the red bean paste. It can be my favorite, which are the little seeds with some sort of sugar. I don't know exactly
你喜
what.
欢五仁儿的吗?
I don't know.
You're so weird.
Really? That's
You're
my
not.
favorite.
You're not. It's a good taste.
Everybody likes that one, don't they? But what do? You put it in the coffee,
You put it in the coffee.
and then
And then you enjoy the whole thing.
So the
like you're
rice-
having a beverage as well as, I don't know, a dinner.
the
Happy
rice
one.
falls apart from because the glutinous rice balls, they look like little table tennis balls. They look like ping pong balls, right?
Yes.
So what happens to the rice?
They're still, together. And my suggestion is to finish all the tangyuan before they mess up with your coffee.
So you have to drink it faster. That makes sense.
Yes.
Have you tried this one?
No, I haven't tried this one, but I would like to.
Yeah, I'd give it a shot, but I'm not sure I'd love this, to be honest.
If you really think about it, during Lantern Festival, you love your coffee and you still kind of want to experience a little bit of Chinese culture from the style or in the area of Chinese cuisine, then glutinous rice ball or tangyuan is something quite auspicious in a way because it represents reunion, getting together, completeness, and these are all really nice connotation.
And when you explain it like that, and
Makes
remember,
sense.
during the Spring Festival, the weather's still kind of cold, right? During the Lantern Festival, still a little chilly outside. So it kind of turns the coffee into a dessert kind of beverage slash snacks. So chilly outside, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, if you think that, maybe now you're more open to the idea of having deep fried dough sticks in your coffee.
Yes, please.
油条.
Youtiao.
Have you ever tried 油条?
Of course I've tried youtiao.
In coffee, really?
No, but this makes sense to me. So youtiao, these are the deep fried pastry bread sticks. They're usually about this long or so. And people eat them when they order their congee in the morning, which I've done about 100 times so far now. It's just a perfect accompaniment. It tastes so good. The flavor of the breadstick itself, it's not really
not
that
strong.
No, it's not strong at all. And it itself just tastes like I don't know, a donut maybe or something like that.
When you say that, it makes a lot of sense to match it with coffee.
No, exactly. And sometimes in Canada, we'll take our donuts and dip them into the coffee cup. So this is not a strange thing for me at all.
Huh, interesting. Because I was thinking it does make sense because in China, we match up 油条 with 豆浆,
What's
soybean
doujiang?
juice.
Okay.
Soybean milk.
Which is also served at breakfast time.
Exactly, that's the thing. If you have a habit of having coffee during breakfast, then you're pretty much matching every breakfast material with your coffee already.
Yeah.
And 油条, by the way, these deep fried dough stick, 油 is oil. And 条 is basically a long object, so the stick. So
Oil stick.
Oil stick, you're matching your 油条 with the coffee already. But I think the reason it's getting popular in different places is because no one has sell it before. So that's the idea.
So I've only had the youtiao without any flavorings at all. But I always thought to myself, this would be really good if you sprinkled some powdered sugar on it or dipped it in sugar or something like that. Do people do that?
I don't.
I can imagine it would be really nice, especially if you're going to dip it into your coffee.
I'll try next time. But you know, in China, if you wanted two people from the south and the north to get into a fight, ask them whether or not they have their, for example, mooncake or 汤圆 or 元宵 or 豆花, any of these things, sweet ways or savory ways. There's the fight.
Oh, okay.
And for me, 油条 is definitely something that goes with salt, not with sugar.
So I've
sensitive nerve.
I've unknowingly touched upon a sensitive cultural nerve.
No, maybe just for me. It's just a funny little chat.
Oh, I see.
But I think it's fun to see that we're getting more and more open to the idea of being a little bit naughty with our food.
Yeah, and it's being creative, right? And
Yes.
it's being fun. And it doesn't mean that every time you create a new dish, it has to be this amazing 5-star, Michelin star dish. It's try it out, see if it's amazing, see if it's great, see if you like it. If you like it, try it.
Do you like 红烧肉?
红烧肉.
红烧肉, braised pork in soy sauce.
Oh my gosh, with the soy sauce. Sometimes the
Very
cinnamon.
tender.
Sometimes the star anise, right? I think it depends on the restaurant, depends on the recipe.
Yes.
It's pork belly. Now, pork belly for me, you can never go wrong. But that sauce, it's got this sweet caramel flavor to it. It's almost syrupy, but not really syrupy.
A little bit.
A little
actually,
bit,
yeah.
right? It's one of my favorites, actually. I think
See where I'm going with this?
in coffee.
Yes. That's a hard no.
Pork and coffee.
Yes, 红烧肉咖啡.
No. Listen, the pear, okay, you had me at the pear. I'm okay with that. The rice balls, fine. If we do
Slippery slope.
If we have to do the rice balls, the breadstick is no problem at all. But the pork belly and coffee? Why?
Because we can.
Because we can. This is the perfect lesson. Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Because if you really think about it, as long as you do not put sugar in coffee in its own way is neutral. It's not sweet. It's not sour. It's not savory. It's definitely not spicy.
It's a little bitter.
It's a little bitter, but bitter is the kind of taste that can go with any other ones. If you put savory and sweet together, it can be a little bit weird. But if you put sweet and bitter together, that is just coffee with sugar.
Yeah,
that is
true.
why people are getting creative. In China, when we describe different flavor, we say 酸甜苦辣咸. 酸 sour, 酸
酸
甜sweet, 苦 bitter, 苦 辣 spicy, 咸 savory.
咸
Yes. So those are
the flavors.
Those are the flavors, all of the flavors. Sometimes we say 味杂陈, so all these 5 flavors together. Usually used to describe the life, not the food, but it can be. You blend things together with different portion. And that is why 红烧肉咖啡 is not impossible. It's just putting a bit more sweet and savory into the bitterness.
So when
I'm justifying 红烧肉 coffee, by the way.
When you started this, I thought, no way. Because in the image I had in my mind, you're dipping pork into the coffee. And I thought, no, that's weird. I don't want pork in my coffee. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. If you had a pork dish and you just poured some coffee on top of that, where you had a coffee flavor, well, then it kind of made sense to me. So what difference does it make if the pork's going in the coffee or the coffee's going in the pork? It's all going to be the same flavors matching together.
Yes.
I'd give it a try, I think. I'm hesitant on this one, but I'll give it a shot.
In that case, you might not hate the last choice, which is 青椒咖啡.
青椒咖啡.
Yes, 青椒 is green pepper.
Green pepper coffee.
Green pepper coffee. This one is not that bad because instead of chopping them into little pieces and putting them in coffee and forcing you to finish everything, we're using it as a cup.
Oh, so you cut the top off the green pepper, you scoop out the inside, all the seeds and those white walls or whatever. I don't know what you call those. And then you pour coffee inside. Interesting concept. Does it hold the coffee? It doesn't leak at all?
It holds the coffee pretty well. And on that note, I think we can have 青椒咖啡. We can have pumpkin, 南瓜咖啡. We can even perhaps have 菠萝咖啡.
Anything that you could scoop the inside out of,
exactly.
you could turn into
so
that.
It's not that bad. And I think this is a fun topic for sure. It's not that common in China just yet. Not everybody is pairing up their breakfast 煎饼 with coffee. Not everybody is having 红烧肉 with coffee. But we are actually happy to see these kind of innovation in food in every little different detail in life because we're embracing different type, we're embracing different culture. And it's always a fun thing to create new things.
And that's why I said, I've been to a lot of breakfast restaurants here in Beijing, and I haven't seen coffee served with your traditional Chinese breakfast items. But that could be changing now. And then when new things start to change, then the owners, the chefs, they'll start to get a little bit creative with their ideas. So, maybe everything on here might not be for us or might not be for everyone today, but I think it's definitely worth a shot.
It's a fun concept in general. So, which type is your favorite and your least favorite?
Well, the least favorite, I think, is going to have to be the pork.
Oh, really? 红烧肉咖啡.
I think
I'm going to force you to learn that word. 红烧肉.
红烧肉.
So 红 is red because it carries I think it's brown,
brownish red.
Brownish red, but it's still red.
Yeah.
And also 红烧 is actually a way of cooking here in China.
Oh, that's a method.
Yes, you can 红烧肉, you can 红烧鱼. So 红烧 is a method. So 烧 in itself means to burn, but 烧 is also, again, a cooking method. So 红烧 is a type and 肉 is merely just meat.
Yeah.
So 红烧肉, that's the meat. 红烧肉.
红烧肉咖啡.
Okay, that's your least favorite.
Yes.
最不喜欢. Least favorite. Okay, which one is your absolute favorite? Just among these ones.
Well, I was going to go, with the fried dough
Really?
dipped in coffee because that's so natural for me. Like I said, we do this in Canada already with donuts, so it's really not that big a stretch at all. I would go with that. I know this upsets you culturally. I would still make it a little bit sweet if I had the option. I've never tried that with salt, by the way.
You don't try it with salt.
It's just in the dough?
No, in my experience, I try it with 豆腐乳. It's a kind of sauce generated from tofu. And I would also try it with 豆腐脑. That is the tofu, very tender tofu soup thing. And also I tried with 豆浆. So when I say I still like it to be, see, when I'm talking, I realized I have tried sweet ones. We have 油饼 instead. So 油, you already know that's oil. So 油条, that is the stick. Whereas 油饼 is like a oil cake, but it's not cake. It's like pancake kind of cake.
Oh, okay.
And on that one, you do have a layer of sugar already.
See?
So I do that.
And did you like it?
I like it.
Well, there you go.
I'm questioning the very core of what I said.
Who you are as
who
a person.
I am. This is so weird. And if I dip 油饼 in coffee, it actually makes sense.
Right. Okay, let's make a deal then. Okay, we'll go out for some coffee. I'll get the pork in the coffee. You can try the sweet dough.
I can.
And we'll see what happens.
Yes, and I have to say my favorite would be 冻梨咖啡. The frozen pear. Yes.
Because you've tried it and you know.
I tried it and I like it. I think the concept of fruity coffee is actually a good idea, especially if it's fruity soda, 气泡咖啡. So 气泡美式, by the way, is also a thing. So,
气泡美式.
Yes, 气 is air, and 泡 is bubble.
Okay.
So bubbly water,
Yeah.
bubbly soda.
Carbonated.
气泡咖啡, that's the thing. That's kind of what I really enjoy.
See, I've not tried that one either. I've been drinking coffee for almost my whole adult life, and I've just realized today, quite limited in what I've tried so far. So I have a lot of work to do.
Oh, glad you think that way.
yeah.
Here in China, try different things.
I will do.
I'm actually finding it quite amusing because when we are super proud of something from our own culture, there are different approaches. Some of us would find it a bit offensive if you do weird experiment on our stuff, on our food.
Yeah, the traditionalists, the purists, they don't want you to mess with the original recipe at all.
Yeah, I've heard that if you want to make someone from Italy angry, then you put fruit on pizza.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a little bit stereotypical. But what I'm saying is there's that approach. And there is another approach, which in my opinion is the kind of approach that most Chinese people would take. That is, if you like what we offer and if you use it and apply it in your life, either dressing up with traditional Chinese costume from different ethnic groups or trying Chinese dish or learning to cook Chinese dish in your own kitchen, in our opinion, it is taken as a compliment.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's my next step, I think. I love to cook, so I'm going to start to try some Chinese dishes at home. I haven't done it just yet, which means I'm ordering a lot more food than I'd like to. But every time I order some dish, I kind of look at it and kind of analyze like, okay, here's what's, maybe I can try to find these ingredients. Now I know it's probably going to be
a bit harder than what you think.
No, exactly. And it's not going to be harder than what I think. I know it's going to be hard, but just it's fun, right? Try to pick out what the spices are and then next time go to the mart and see if I can replicate it at home.
I think I can already tell that you're the one who is opening to new ideas and enjoying innovation. But still, if you can use different words to describe this kind of mixture of Western style and Eastern style or Italian pizza.
Pineapple on
pizza.
Yeah, some people really don't like that, right?
Or spaghetti in Chinese potato or tomato fried egg kind of sauce, whatever those.
Yeah.
What would be the word you want to use to describe this kind of new approaches?
Unique.
Unique, 独特.
独特.
Literally unique, because 独 means single, a single one. So, for example, 独身, it means you're single. You do not have a partner or boyfriend. 独身 and 独. And 特 is special. So it is special, and it's one of a kind. Unique.
Okay. I would also say, well, I wouldn't say, but for some people, they might say, oh, it's a little bit bizarre.
Bizarre, 奇怪.
奇怪.
奇怪. So both 奇 and 怪 carries the meaning of you find it a bit strange.
Okay. Can you help me out with that pronunciation again? The first syllable, it's not the CH sound from English, right? It's somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So
奇,
qi, qi.
奇.
You put the middle part of your tongue against the ceiling of your mouth.
Okay.
A little bit. qi.
奇.
Now you're using the tip of your tongue to touch the ceiling.
Right.
You want to use the middle part. qi.
奇.
Better.
奇.
qi. Yes. 怪.
怪.
奇怪.
奇怪.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny how you knew where the tip of my tongue. I was using the tip of my tongue as opposed to the middle of my tongue. You're a good Chinese language teacher.
Thank you. And for those of you who are learning Chinese, who want to know what you're doing wrong, you can send us a clip of you reading certain Chinese words or Chinese sentences, and we'll tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah, or what you're doing right.
It sounds much better in my head. Now I'm saying I can be very picky with your Chinese pronunciation. It doesn't mean like that. I mean, I can help you with it.
Yeah, and I would encourage our listeners and our viewers to send questions related to pronunciation as well, because I can tell you this firsthand. And I'm not sure if this depends on other languages, but when you're a native English speaker, there are some mouth placements and tongue placements that are just foreign, right? They just don't really naturally appear for that kind of sound that you just told me. So, for example, putting the tongue in the upper part of your or the roof of your mouth, and then making that chi sound. That,
See, you're getting better.
Well, now I know where to put my tongue, but with that kind of explanation, then it makes it easier. So don't be shy about asking questions about like tongue placement and lip placement or whatever the case may be, because it really does help.
It really does help. And since we're on the subject of learning things that can be used, or learning words that can be used to describe something weird, bizarre, strange, there is a word that we use quite a lot these days, but I think from around 20 years ago, the meaning of it changed a little bit.
What's that?
奇葩.
奇葩.
Yes, so 葩 is actually a kind of flower in its original meaning. It means a strange, a hard to see, a rare, beautiful flower. So it used to be a very positive word. Yet around 20 years ago, people started to use it as something strange and something bizarre with a relatively negative connotation.
Oh, really? Well, I wonder why.
Well, it's just the evolving of language, and when people started to use the original word to describe something else, and it's getting popular, more adopted by more people. So 奇葩 is now, in my opinion, relatively negative.
So weird in a bad way.
Yes.
Yeah, because weird. Let me ask you this question. If you say weird in English, sometimes we sometimes ask the question weird bad or weird good, right? So does weird always mean something negative in Chinese? Or, for example, if you say 奇葩.
奇葩, in my opinion, in most cases, would mean something weird, bad.
Okay.
奇怪 is relatively neutral.
Okay.
And
Is there a-
奇特,
奇特.
I think 奇特 would be relatively positive.
Okay. So weird good.
You know, one thing, when I
奇特.
when I was browsing on the internet buying stuff, for those of you who follow my Facebook page, Niuniu Chinese, or who are really, really long time fan of Learn Chinese Facebook page, you might notice that there has been a series of Bits and Pieces by Niuniu. That's the bits and pieces I bought. Strange little things. I like to buy strange little things, fun things that make me feel like, wow, this person creating this one is really creative.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I used to search the keyword 新奇特.
新奇特
Yes, so 新 means new.
New.
奇 something strange. 特别 something special.
Okay.
And with that keyword, you can find a lot of strange stuff. Strange good, in my opinion.
Curious to see what's in your closet.
Oh, there are many. And that is why 奇特, in my opinion, carries the meaning of weird good,
Gotcha.
mostly. Yes. So 奇特, relatively positive. 奇怪, neutral. And 奇葩, relatively negative.
Okay, so the pork belly, how to say that again? The pork belly dish in the coffee.
红烧肉咖啡
红烧肉咖啡奇特
Yes, 很奇特
很奇特
Yes, in Chinese, when you want to say the noun is the adjective, what you do, instead of saying 是, which is, you say 很 or very. It's just a habit.
If you use 奇特 in public, so for example, if you are in a restaurant or if you're in a shop and the server wants you to try something and you taste it, is that would that be a rude thing to say? I'm thinking like in English, if you said, oh, this is a little bit weird, but I like it.
See, the most important part is, but I like it.
Oh,
so
okay.
it depends on the following sentence.
So don't just say 奇特
Don't just say 奇特.
Well, you said it's weird good, so I thought...
Yeah, say it's weird good.
Yeah, you're right, because in English, you wouldn't only say those words, weird good. Yeah, you wouldn't do that either.
Yeah, so you can say 很奇特很有创意 very creative or 很奇特但是我喜欢 it's very strange but I like it
Or how about 奇特好吃
Yes, that works as well 奇特好吃
Okay, because 好吃 means it tastes good.
It tastes good.
Okay, good. Learn something new I can use if I'm trying some sort of unique dishes. Because it's true, right? You know, I'm in China and I'm learning all kinds of new foods or new dishes that I haven't tried before. So this is a good expression for me.
奇特但是好吃
奇特但是好吃
但是 means but
Oh, but it's good. It's a weird good, but it's still good.
It's still good. Yeah, that's the idea. And there are other ways to describe different fusion food or different mixture of things when you're creating new things. But I think the overall idea behind all these is that we want something special and new in our lives. And no matter it's because we have a whimsical idea all of a sudden, or it's because we are deeply in a conversation with a brand new concept and we want to blend it in our original ones. It's still kind of a 奇特 but good idea.
I can agree with that because how are we supposed to find new things if we're only sticking with the traditional things?
So, since we already covered the beverage part, we've talked about a lot of different types of coffee. Even though coffee is originally something from the West, now you get to see that Chinese people are doing a lot of things with the coffee with Chinese element. How about Chinese food or a Chinese dish? What is your favorite Chinese dish?
Ooh, favorite Chinese dish. I would have to say still, you know, I'm trying new things all the time, but I keep going back to the duck. I think that's my favorite one. The Beijing duck.
北京烤鸭.
Beijing 烤鸭.
Yes, that is your favorite one.
I think so, yeah. That's where I started, and from there, I started branching out to different dishes, right? So I think what I'm doing in my mind is every time I try something new, I'm asking myself, do I like this as much as I like the duck? And sometimes it's yes, and sometimes it's no. But I think if I have to choose one overall, that's still going to be the answer.
I want to ask you this because I think for a lot of people who have never been to China, they still have chance to try Chinese food, authentic or pretty much localized ones. But what is your overall impression or idea about Chinese food?
Well, it's different from the Chinese food that we get in North America. We call that American Chinese food, right? In fact, in Canada, we don't call it American Chinese food. We just call it Chinese food. But I think that people in Canada probably don't realize that the food that we get at those types of restaurants is kind of different from the food that we might get here in China. What I've found, though, is that there are some dishes that are the same. Kung Pao chicken.
宫保鸡丁.
Yeah, Gong Pao Ji Ding. That's almost exactly the same as what you'd get in Canada. But then there are dishes that we have in Canada that I can't find here in China. For example, we have something called egg rolls. Have you ever heard of egg rolls before?
Egg rolls. I'm not really sure if it's because of translation or because we do have, for example, spring rolls. We call it 春卷.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, but yet somehow it's a little bit different. I think it varies from restaurant to restaurant, but it's still kind of a fried dumpling. But then we eat that with plum sauce. We call it plum sauce, which is, I don't even know if there's plums in it, to be honest with you. It's like this sweet sauce that only goes with Chinese egg rolls. We never eat it anywhere else that I know. Ooh, you can also put it on the fried rice as well. But outside of that, we don't eat it anywhere else. But yeah, I would say some of the dishes are similar, but a lot of them are very, very different.
That is the thing. Because when we are doing something 奇特 with the coffee, I think people all around the world are doing something, in our opinion, 奇特 with Chinese food.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a bad thing in the sense that localization is always needed. Because in here, we already talked about having double sugar, double cream as an habit.
Yeah.
Yet here in China, you have no sugar or half the sugar as a habit. So different people would have different preferences, different flavor.
And I think Chinese food doesn't necessarily need any introduction to other food cultures because it's been around for so long and everybody's so familiar with it. But still, you want to change your flavor profiles a little bit when you're introducing food to another market. It's just a more comfortable way for customers to become accustomed with certain dishes.
Yes, and that goes back to our previous discussion about whether or not we like people to make changes to the things that we're proud of. And to me, personally at least, I very much like that. I enjoy people enjoying the things I like, and they can make changes about it. And I think that is one way to popularize the proud element, the proud creations of my people.
Yeah, and that's a great attitude to have about it. It's accurate too, I think. But let me ask you, you've had Chinese food outside of China before?
Yes.
Yeah, and what's your thought? What's your opinion?
My opinion is 奇特但是好吃
It's strange, but
it's good.
But it's good.
Yes. So for those of you who are listening, let us know what is your favorite type of Chinese food. And in the meantime, what is your favorite creation of Chinese food? Did you do something about it? Or maybe you have your very own great creation, and we'd love to know that. And if you can send us a picture on our Facebook page, Learn Chinese, that would be even better. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niuniu with Steve here in the studio. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search for Takeaway Chinese. Don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and hopefully a 5-star rating. 感谢收听.
And also, don't forget the pictures of the dishes that you've been cooking too.
Yes.
We definitely want to see those. That'll give me ideas for what to eat and what to try to cook when I go to the market next time.
Yes. So, 感谢收听，我们下次再见。
谢谢. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.